Jay Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for the first one of the year, Hump Day, January 3rd of 2023. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful start to your new year. Let's go on and hop into these astrological transits so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. Now, what's interesting too is I didn't put this on here, and I probably should have, but Venus is in quincunx to Jupiter. Actually, it started on Tuesday, but we're going to start the day off with that transit. We're also having a cardinal T-square that happens today. So those are the two major things that are going to be happening on this Wednesday the 3rd. So let's go ahead and look at the transits for that exactly. Take it off the calendar. I'm going to show you guys the charts. Right. So I am making this at 1:08 a.m. Now, ideally, I would actually make the videos earlier. Actually, ideally, I would have had this video done at like 8, 9, and maybe have it come out at midnight or something like that. That way you guys can have it like when you wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? So, but y'all let me know. Are you guys okay with the videos dropping at 9 a.m. in the morning? Did y'all want them to come earlier, like the night before? Ideally, I'd like it to do it the night before, right? So in any event, we start off the day, of course, with that moon in that first decan of Libra, and it's going to make a pretty interesting aspect here, right? We actually have a bit of a yod. Now I'm thinking about it. So pretty close to it. Anyways, we have the moon that's going to be in sextile to Venus today. And we also are going to see both of these energies make a quincunx over to Jupiter. So that's going to be happening at 5 degrees, right? So if we just move this forward just a little bit, you'll see that essentially as soon as the moon hits 5 degrees, the quincunx between Venus and Jupiter comes exact. So they're both making that awkward stare over to Jupiter. And this is an interesting one, right? Mainly, let's talk about the Venus and Jupiter aspects, right? Like I call the quincunx the awkward stare from across the room. It's kind of the things that you know you need to do, but you don't necessarily want to do them per se, right? Now, there's some interesting mutual reception with this. Mutual reception is essentially what happens when two planets make an aspect to each other and they're in each other's like home. So Venus traditionally rules Taurus and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, where Venus is in Sag and Jupiter is in Taurus. So even though they are making this awkward aspect, at the very least, there's some relatability here because Jupiter can be like, oh yeah, Venus, this is how you take care of this part of my house, and Venus can say the same thing to Jupiter. So being that this is at 5 degrees, this is going to be very mercurial in nature. We have a Mercury that has finally come off of its station point and it's finally moving forward, right? So there's definitely this element here where, of course, Venus is wanting to have the bigger picture and it wants to receive the bigger picture, right? It wants to receive like these ideas, the epiphanies, and Jupiter is wanting to expand on things. Jupiter is freshly coming direct as well. But we're not going to have the full picture. And trying to think our way into a solution is not really going to help. Now, the moon is coming in here wanting to bring some balancing, harmonious energy to the forefront, especially considering the fact that we have all this Sag energy with, Venus, Mercury now is finally stationed direct, and we have Mars here at 29 degrees, right? Just really, really wanting to get to Capricorn where its exaltation is, right? But here's the interesting thing. Mars is actually out of balance right now, too. So when you sandwich all of these aspects on top of each other, it makes Wednesday to really actually feel like a hump day because it's going to be like, we have to do our best to see the blessings in the places that it may not necessarily seem obvious. finding the adventure in the places that don't necessarily seem obvious. And that moon is wanting to bring some sort of balance to that. When it was in Virgo, it was very particular about how the reality looked. Now that it's in Libra, now granted the South Node is there, and yes, it's going to come into oppositions with Chiron and the North Node in Aries. In fact, that's going to start happening really today. In fact, we're going to see towards the end of the day, really it's more Wednesday going into Thursday, you're going to start to see the T square really start to take shape. So it's a day where we have some building energy. It's a day where we're, like I said, looking for the positives, looking for the beautiful blessings in the areas that may not necessarily seem super exciting or super apparent or super like just obvious to us. That's the thing about this. And with the Mars at the end of Sagittarius out of bounds, this is seriously Hail Mary energy going off of the philosophies and the beliefs that you have and like doubling down on them, whether they work or not. Right. You know what I'm saying? So this is like, I'm going to use a sports analogy because that's just what I do. This is like running the same play 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row and thinking that you're going to somehow catch the other team off guard, but you don't catch them off guard, but you continue to double down and use the same game plan and philosophy, but it's not working. Right. So in many ways, I think every single person in the world probably has some aspect of their life where it's just that you keep trying the same play and it's not working. The defense is picking it up, the other team is picking it up. And just because that play may have won you a championship in the past, or definitely won you some good games in the past, people have caught on. And it is time to do something fresh. It's time to do something new. At least we have the moon here that's bringing a bit of a lighter energy to the forefront, because the moon is rather opposed Chiron and North Node than Saturn and Neptune. I'm just going to go ahead and be upfront with it. The moon much rather opposed that Aries energy over the Pisces energy right now, just because, first of all, it's Saturn, right? And these energies that they rule, Cancer and Capricorn, naturally oppose each other. And then you got Neptune here too, which is in its dignity and it's very, very strong, and has been one of the strongest planets for a while. And that's the weird thing about this. There's so much pressure that the Neptune has on us that sometimes we may not even necessarily notice it. It's like we've been at the bottom of the ocean for such a long time, we don't even realize it's like how things are going to be when we're not under that much pressure. It's like we become numb to it. We become so used and inundated by all of the energy, all of the static that Neptune is bringing, that when we start to come out of it, we start to feel weird. It's almost like coming out of the delusion. It's like we start to maybe even feel sick, if you will. And it's not so much that we're sick, it's that we got so used to that place, that energy, that aroma, that the moment that someone else comes into there that's not used to it, they'll be like, yo, what's going on here? It's like you don't even know. And in many ways, you probably have met a lot of people like that, or you probably exhibit that somewhere in your life. But you probably have met a lot of people like that, especially when it comes to the spiritual nature of things. People are so inundated and into their story and into their narrative, the narrative that they follow, right? The narrative that they really, really, really believe in. They become so inundated that they can't even sense if there's danger. They can't even sense if they're being taken advantage of. They can't even sense when their higher self is trying to speak to them because they've outsourced too much of their power. But you notice it. It's apparent to you, but it's not necessarily apparent to these people because they're so ingrained into the dream that it's hard to wake these individuals up. And I think that can cause a lot of frustration for a lot of people who are here to wake people up, who are here to express and be themselves fully, who are here to embody their higher self. That can cause some frustration. And with the Mars out of bound in Sagittarius, this can cause a bit of inflammation too. That's the thing about this, especially since it's pretty intense here. It's coming off of the square to Neptune. Saturn, Sagittarius rules the thighs, rules the legs. So like I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys maybe like if you like pull a muscle, if like you pull like a hamstring or like if you somehow pull your quad or something like that today, then I wouldn't really be surprised about that just because Mars, like I said, is so inflamed at the moment and it's wanting to just take some sort of action. It can kind of feel like we're just trying to like get our bearings and trying to run. Like I said, at least right now we have all planets moving direct except for Uranus. That's the beautiful part about this energy is that even though it still feels slow, even though it still feels like things are slowly starting to get back into gear, at least we have all the planets going direct except for Uranus. And Uranus is usually one of the last planets that goes direct. So, I mean, take some solace in the fact that we are shifting gears, right? It just may take a little bit, right? It may take a little bit to get up to that speed that we want to move at, that top speed, if you will. And honestly, see this moment as a blessing so you can recalibrate and you don't just rock it off, you know. This is the universe is giving us some time to make our wishes, to put things together that we want to have put together, to really have like a game plan, a goal, something to strive for. The universe is giving us this nice opportunity to really figure out. Like I said, we've been having like a long buffer zone, but yeah, Mercury is direct. Yeah, Jupiter is direct, but they're moving slowly. That's the thing about this. They are moving rather slowly. Mercury is moving slow. Jupiter's moving slow. Uranus is still retrograde, but every other planet is moving fast except for the moon. And I guess Chiron is moving slow too because it just came out of its retrograde not too long ago as well. But as far as like major planets, it's Mercury and Jupiter that are moving the slowest right now. And then the moon. But the moon speeds up and slows down all the time, right? And it's the fastest moving energy. So you can't really count the moon. So utilize this time as an opportunity for you to ask the universe, declare to the universe the things that you want to bring into your life, declare to the universe what you want to create and manifest, and put in like start to take small steps towards that. You don't have to figure it out all right now. Just take some small steps. So what's interesting about this is that if you look at even just the scores for all these energies, it's overall pretty positive. Venus and Jupiter are +7, Mars is at +2, the Moon and Saturn are at +1, the Sun is at -5. Makes sense. It's in Cap, right? It's in Cap and it's starting to square this Aries energy, right? And Mercury's -10. Of course, it's at -10. It's moving very, very slow and it's in its detriment. So that's the thing about this. It's like we have to. It is a moment where we kind of have to dig deep, but I think it's a moment where we have to just simply be open to perceiving that this moment right now is beautiful. And I'm telling you guys, it won't be long before you look back at the beginning of this year, like later in this year, you'll look back at January, you'll look back on this month and be like, yo, I had an opportunity to really get clear on what I wanted. Because when it gets later down the road and things are moving a lot faster and you're having to process information much more rapidly with all of the craziness that's going to be going on, you will realize how you will be thankful that you had time to slow down. We're like in a study period, if you will. We're studying for the exam right now. So utilize the study time. Utilize this time before the exam to study, to to freshen up on your skills, to really, get intentional. Get intentional with your creativity. Get intentional with what you're wanting to bring in, because this time isn't going to last very long. It's not going to last very long. Things are about to like really speed up and kick off. So this is a time where, like I said, just take advantage of the moment. Take advantage of the moment. And like I said, we will see the T-square start to form once the moon hits the third quarter square to the sun. So that means we're heading towards this new moon. Now, this is happening around 10:08, right? And as you can see, when this is happening, it's starting to also oppose Chiron. So this cardinal T square starts to form. Libra, Aries, Capricorn, no Cancer energy, right? Nothing in Cancer, not even a minor asteroid is in Cancer, right? And the moon is with the south node, and the sun is with Pluto, and Chiron is with the north node in Aries. If you think for a moment that this decision on getting clear on the direction that we want to go in, whether we have the full picture or not, because we don't have the full picture, this is why this is an exercise in trust, right? This is an exercise in, do you trust the universe? Do you trust God? Do you trust your higher self? Because is it going to be easy? No. Because the moon with the south node, this is going to be past life stuff coming up. Whether it's from this life or past relationship stuff will come up. You have Chiron, North Node, and Aries. This is about like, can you even really truly express yourself, or are you afraid to, based off the things that might have happened in the past? Are you afraid that might cause some discord or some strife in your life to really start to express yourself and really use the key and use the key and unlock that treasure chest and actually get the gifts, the gift of you, and actually bring that to the world and put it out there for people to see? Are you afraid to do that? And then you have, of course, the sun here in Capricorn wanting to climb this mountain, and we're focused a lot more on legacy right now in our vitality. But then Pluto is here, and they're coming into their conjunction. And this is the last time that we will see the sun in Capricorn with Pluto and Capricorn at the same time in our lifetimes. The last time that we'll see it. So, yeah, no pressure, but there is pressure. And pressure isn't bad. Pressure is not bad. I think sometimes we get pressure and stress mixed up, right? Because pressure isn't necessarily bad. You need pressure. Just like a plane's, like the cabin needs to be pressurized, right? Or like, like tire pressure. If you don't have enough tire pressure, if the tire pressure is too much, then it can cause stress on the wheel, on the tire, and it can pop. But if it's too low, that can be bad as well. Right? So you have to find that balance. That's where the moon and Libra comes into play. It's like, yeah, there's pressure in life, but where's the balance? If the pressure is too high, then that's not good. If the pressure is too low, that's not good either. So we have to learn how to find the balance in life, whatever. And here's the thing too. If you're doing the work, you're going to sense, okay, there's a little bit of pressure right here. There's a little bit of a challenge, but I can overcome this. If life is like way too easy right now, then you're not doing the work. If it's like way too easy, if it's just a simple glide right now, then you're not really doing the work. But if there's a little bit of resistance, if there's a little bit of a challenge, and everyone has challenges, but you know what I mean? Like if there's like, especially when it comes, like I said, manifesting that life that you really want and being that and stepping more into your creative potential, if there's not a little bit of challenge there, if there's not a little bit of resistance, you don't have enough weight. You need to add some more weight to the bench and bench press more, right? Add a little bit more. Or if you've been running, if you're so used to just running, like say if you're like a runner, say if you're just so used to running a mile and it's not really doing anything anymore, it's not giving you the experience points that you need, it's time for you to level up and go from the mile run to the 2 mile run. And I think that's what it is. So many people have gotten so proficient at a certain level in their life, but it's not giving them the experience points that they need because they're leveling up a lot slower because they are afraid to get into the arena with bigger enemies or bigger bad guys or bigger monsters to fight, and they're afraid to get into that arena, yet they don't even realize just how potent their power is right now. And I think every single one of us, especially those of us, I guess, who are walking the spiritual path, so to speak, or doing the light work, I think a lot of us are afraid to move up to the next arena. But you have been preparing for this. You have been practicing for this for a long time. And you, for a good bit of your life, probably didn't even realize it. But if you are consciously aware of it, you've been practicing and you've been honing your skills for such a long time. Trust me when I say you are ready. You are ready to move on to the next arena. And yes, that means larger monsters, that means bigger challenges, that means bigger bosses that you're going to have to face. But that means bigger rewards, bigger gains, better friendships that you will form with other people, better connection, and overall greater fulfillment. Let's get into the cards. Oh, what happened? Okay, there I am. I disappeared for a second there. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, we have the King of Pentacles upright. I love this card. This is someone who definitely has a plan. You know, this is someone who has his head on straight. He's not worried. He doesn't allow things to really get to him. And I love that his like head is like a bison, right? And the bison, they're such massive creatures, and they're seemingly so calm and chill until you ruffle them, right? But they're so calm and chill, and it's like they're aware of their mass, they are aware of their strength, but they're not just going out here just running through shit just because they have all this power. They know how to use their power wisely, and that's the thing. Like I said, unless you perturb them, right? And that's the thing about the King of Pentacles. He knows how to use his value wisely. Sure, he could just go off and be obnoxious about it, but he's not going to. Sure, he can go off and, just, and like I said, this is about finding the balance. That's what the whole moon, opposing Chiron, square the sun thing is about. It's finding the balance as far as like, how can we really express ourselves and be, raw with it, with the Aries, but at the same time, knowing how to leave that legacy and how to be, still kind of play the game a little bit. We're still kind of playing this Capricorn game at the same time, finding the balance and the harmony with that. I do have the Three of Wands in reverse. This is exactly why I said it's time for you to stop contemplating. It's time for you to stop just standing there on the freaking hill, looking out at the sunset, being like, I'm going to go over there one day. And then it's like 2-3 years later, I'm going to go over there one day. It is time for you to finally get out of the sandbox and move to the bigger playground. I know that you may be afraid, but so long as you know your worth and you know your value, and you don't have to just go in there and be like, hear me roar. Like, you don't have to do that unless you're a fire sign, right? Unless you're a fire sign, you don't have to go in there like that, okay? Just pop onto the scene, do your thing. You don't have to just be like that, like a freaking bull in a china shop. You don't have to do that kind of energy, right? Because trust me, the energy will find you. It'll find you, right? Especially like, you'll enter into the space and like they'll see your power level. Some of you guys have such a high power level that when they see you, that when you step into like that new arena, they're gonna be some of those monsters are afraid of you. Some of those entities are afraid of you. Some of those bosses are afraid of you because you're going to go in there. You have such a high power level. They're going to be able to see it. It's way over 9,000. And they're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I really want to fuck with them. Yeah, this is, dude, he's just been over here killing slimes for thousands of years, killing low-level monsters for thousands of years, and yeah, slow grinded his level all the way up. It's like you're a level 100 Charizard on like Route 4, and you're battling against fucking level 20 Beedrills or something like that. And did you stay on those first couple routes for too long? Probably. But find the blessing in that too. right? Because, like I said, you're going to go into these new arenas, and these things that you are afraid of are actually afraid of you. Bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And don't hesitate. The Knight of Cups in reverse, this can be where we may start to doubt our intuition. We may start to doubt going for this holy grail, if you will. I like how on this deck, it shows someone who's like kind of hitching a ride on the dolphin and stuff. And, like I said, this is, don't doubt your intuition. Don't doubt, your gut. If your gut, if your intuition is telling you something and it's like a clear message and stuff, don't doubt it. I think we can definitely get in our heads on a day like today and really start to psych ourselves out and be like, maybe I'm not ready to move on to the next level, but you absolutely are. I know you may be afraid, or you may think that you're not qualified. You may not. You may feel like that someone else is much more qualified than you, or has done it longer than you. So that's another thing. Some of you guys are holding yourself back because you see other people that have been doing this much longer than you, and then you're feeling like you're not worthy. And that's not true at all, because we need all the help we can get. We need all the energy that we can get. We need all the love. We need your love. We need you. We need all the radiators of love. Not just one, not just two, not just three. This is one you can't doubt yourself just because may look and you may compare. That's the whole thing with the moon and Libra with the South Node. Comparison is the thief of joy on a day like today. So if you look at someone and you may feel like they have it all and you're wanting to do something similar, and then you start to doubt yourself because you feel like you have lesser, that is a perception. We need all of the radiators of love to stand up on a day like today, and really every day. But we need all of the radiators of love to show up. I don't care how many subscribers you have. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I don't care where you feel like you are when it comes to the status and how you comparing yourself to other people. We need you, beloved. This world needs you. Trust and have faith in that fact. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. Hope that you all enjoyed it. I was channeling today. Hope I'm saying I was channeling. I was on it today with this one. So hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it assists you on your journey and you can continue to move forward and be that radiator of love and live your best life. I love you all so much. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. I'll see y'all on the next astrology forecast. Peace.